Hello, dear friends. Have you ever noticed how your dog starts behaving strangely when you hug a family member or pet another animal? Maybe it tries to squeeze between you, whines, or even gently nips at you. Many owners swear that their four-legged friends show real jealousy. But is this actually possible, or are we just humanizing our pets by attributing complex human emotions to them? Today we will explore this fascinating question and uncover the mystery of canine jealousy. If you find the topic of pets interesting, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss new episodes about our four-legged friends. This information will be useful for anyone who wants to better understand their furry companion and build harmonious relationships with them. Let's first understand what jealousy means from a psychological perspective. In humans, jealousy is a complex emotion associated with fear of losing significant relationships, feelings of possessiveness, and even self-esteem. For a long time, scientists believed that animals were incapable of experiencing such complex emotions. It was assumed that jealousy requires self-awareness and the ability to put yourself in another's place, qualities traditionally attributed only to humans. But is this really the case? Recent research gives us pause for thought. Interestingly, the first serious scientific studies on jealousy in dogs appeared relatively recently. In 2014, researchers from the University of California conducted an experiment that clarified much. They observed dogs' reactions when their owners paid attention to three different objects: a plush dog that could make sounds and move, a plastic bucket with a Halloween pumpkin, and a children's book. The results were astonishing. Dogs showed significantly more signs that could be interpreted as jealousy when their owner interacted with the plush dog. They tried to stand between the owner and the toy, pushed the toy, and even tried to bite it. Meanwhile, dogs showed much less interest in the bucket and book. This indicates that dogs can indeed experience something similar to jealousy, especially when they perceive a potential threat to their relationship with their owner. How do you know if your dog is jealous? There are several clear signs. First, carefully observe your pet's behavior when you hug or kiss a family member. If the dog persistently tries to stand between you, whines, barks, or even growls, this might be a manifestation of jealousy. Second, dogs may demonstrate obsessive behavior, constantly following you, not leaving your side when a new person or animal appears in the house. Third, some dogs might suddenly forget how to follow commands or start relieving themselves in inappropriate places when they feel their position in the family is threatened. And sometimes a pet might even pretend to be sick to attract your attention. Yes, indeed, they can be real little manipulators. All these behavioral patterns indicate that the dog is experiencing discomfort from changes in the usual social dynamics. From an evolutionary perspective, canine jealousy has deep roots. The ancestors of our domestic pets, wolves, live in strictly hierarchical packs where access to resources, including food and reproduction opportunities, depends on their position in the social structure. During the domestication process, which began about 15,000 years ago, dogs came to perceive humans as members of their pack. For them, the owner is not just a source of food and comfort, but also a key figure in their social life. Therefore, it's not surprising that dogs may show anxiety when they feel a threat to their relationship with their owner. This is not so much jealousy in the human understanding as protection of their position and access to an important social resource. Dog jealousy is especially pronounced in relation to other people. Imagine this situation. You come home after a long day, and your partner greets you with a hug. Suddenly, your dog squeezes between you, demanding attention. Or another example, you're paying attention to a guest, and your dog starts demonstratively bringing toys, whining, or even jumping onto your lap. These are classic manifestations of canine jealousy toward people. Interestingly, dogs often become jealous of newborn babies. When a baby appears in the house, the pet may feel neglected and show signs of stress or depression. In such cases, it's especially important not to forget to spend time with your four-legged friend so they don't feel abandoned. Jealousy toward other animals in the house is a separate and very common problem. When you bring home a new pet, whether it's a puppy, kitten, or even a hamster, your dog may perceive this as a direct threat to its position. It might start marking territory, showing aggression toward the newcomer, or conversely, demonstratively ignoring it, thus expressing its protest. Some dogs might try to copy the behavior of the new pet to attract your attention. For example, if you find it endearing when the cat rubs against your legs, the dog might start doing the same thing. And sometimes it happens that the dog begins to steal toys or the bed of the new pet, asserting its superiority. All these are various strategies aimed at maintaining its special status in your life. Do different dog breeds show jealousy differently? Research shows that the tendency toward jealousy can indeed vary depending on the breed, although individual character traits play an equally important role. Dogs bred for close work with humans, such as herding breeds, often demonstrate stronger attachment to one owner and, accordingly, more pronounced jealousy. Hunting breeds, accustomed to working in groups, may adapt more easily to the appearance of new people or animals, but decorative breeds, which have been bred for centuries as companions, sometimes show particularly strong possessive attachment. However, remember, each dog is an individual with its own unique character, and drawing conclusions based solely on breed would be incorrect. It's important to be able to distinguish jealousy from other behavioral problems. Sometimes what seems like jealousy might actually be a manifestation of anxiety, territorial behavior, or even a medical problem. For example, if a dog starts marking territory when a new pet appears, this could be either jealousy or an attempt to establish its boundaries. Aggressive behavior may be related not to jealousy, but to pain or discomfort. Therefore, if you notice sudden changes in your pet's behavior, it's better to consult a veterinarian to rule out possible medical causes. And only after that should you turn to a dog trainer or animal psychologist for behavior correction. How should you properly respond to manifestations of jealousy in a dog? The main rule is not to encourage unwanted behavior. If your dog starts behaving obtrusively when you hug a family member, you shouldn't immediately shift your attention to it. This will only reinforce such behavior. Instead, ignore unwanted manifestations and encourage calm behavior. For example, if the dog quietly lies nearby while you communicate with another person or animal, be sure to praise it and offer a treat. Gradually, the pet will understand that calm behavior brings more benefits than jealous antics. If the problem of jealousy has already seriously taken root, a more systematic approach to behavior correction may be required. One effective method is desensitization. This is the gradual accustoming of the dog to situations that cause jealousy, starting with minimal manifestations. For example, if the dog is jealous of your partner, start with having your partner simply be in the same room with you without directly interacting. When the dog gets used to this and remains calm, you can move on to the next stage. For example, your partner can sit closer to you. At each stage, encourage the dog's calm behavior with treats and praise. Another useful method is redirecting attention. When a situation provoking jealousy arises, offer the dog an interesting toy or task that will occupy its attention. Gradually, it will learn to associate potentially stressful situations with something pleasant. It's much easier to prevent the development of jealousy in puppies than to correct this behavior in adult dogs. From a very early age, accustom the puppy to the fact that your attention will be divided among different family members and possibly other animals. Create positive associations. When you hug someone in the household, treat the puppy to a delicacy or praise it for calm behavior. It's also important to provide the puppy with enough physical activity and mental stimulation so that it doesn't feel the need to compete for your attention due to boredom or excess energy. And don't forget to allocate time for individual activities with the puppy so that it feels its importance in your life. There are many myths about canine jealousy that can confuse owners. For example, there's a common belief that if a dog is jealous, it means it loves you too much. In fact, intense jealousy is more often associated with insecurity and anxiety, not the strength of attachment. Another myth is that jealousy can be completely eradicated. Unfortunately, this is not always possible, especially if the tendency toward jealous behavior is inherent in the dog's character. However, the right approach will help significantly reduce its manifestations. Yet another misconception is that dogs are jealous only of their primary owner. In reality, they can show jealousy toward other family members to whom they are strongly attached. And finally, the myth that jealousy is always bad. In small manifestations, jealousy can be a normal aspect of a dog's social behavior, showing its attachment to you. To summarize, we can say that canine jealousy is quite a real phenomenon, although it differs from human jealousy. It is rather a special form of social behavior related to protecting relationships and resources important to the dog. Modern research confirms that dogs can indeed experience a primitive form of jealousy, especially when they perceive a threat to their connection with their owner. Understanding the causes and mechanisms of canine jealousy helps build more harmonious relationships with your pet and prevent the development of behavioral problems. What about your experience? Have you noticed signs of jealousy in your dog? How do you handle such situations? Share your stories in the comments. We are very interested in learning about your experience with four-legged friends. If the video was useful for you, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. This will really help us continue creating quality content about our beloved pets. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next episodes. Soon, we will reveal another intriguing topic from the world of canine psychology that will surely surprise you. In the meantime, appreciate your pets, respect their feelings, and remember, understanding is the key to harmonious relationships with your four-legged friend.